The fish in the water is silent. The animal on earth is noisy. The bird in the air is singing. But man has in him the silence of the sea, the noise of the earth, and the music of the air. Rabinith Ranath Tagore. Upon hearing the seer's poetic words, I asked myself, where is the silence, noise, and singing within me? It seems like a deja vu in a sense, a vague memory of when I was a child, a quaint, mystical voice of the child within me, calling me back to the innocence and awe of the simplicity and depth of being. A child buried in a world of notions and ideas of a life defined within the castle's keep of certainty. As being one divided from the hostility of what was outside oneself, in which I would manufacture a cloak of armor in which to hide behind the fear, an identity, a construct of the mind, in order to be worthy of acceptance in a world that told me I had to make something of myself, as if I couldn't be myself by myself. A self in which fame, fortune, and power were its foundations, always beyond my grasp, transient in their very nature, fleeting like as a swallow in the sky, leaving no trail behind it. There was never simply enough to be simply be. I sought solace within the shadow of Dionysus. In my cups I was robust, grandiose, seeking release from the weight of the armor that I forged with the power of my will and rationale, an identity to take refuge in, and thus I put on my put-on, faithfully, seeing its image, hearing its voice in the mirror of my mind. And while wearing on the armor for so long, so very, very long, that I became convinced that I was this identity. And thinking it to be me, I would defend it to the death. This cloak of armor of which I forged to protect me, putting myself in peril by guarding that which I put on to protect me from peril. I lost awareness of being without being anything in particular, abandoning my conscience to the rules of being, taking to heart mental fabrications of what was right, what was wrong, that I adopted from my ancestors, inheriting from them a world of dualism. My vision of the wholeness of life growing darker and darker behind the veil of calloused obstinacy. Guarding my heart with diligence of the jailkeeper. In ignorance, my heart became guarded, oblivious to the flow of life that would flow yet uninhibited if I were to but guard the heart from becoming guarded rather than defending it from sensitivity. In terror of the pain, I suffered the pain all the more. Thus there, within my cups, feeling free of the pain, feeling little, if at all, by my insensitivity to it. Unable to see that the cause of the suffering inside me was the me in which I was inside. Incarcerated by identity, I was a horse tethered to a cardboard post, in chains and cuffs, to the me that I mused I had become. One who thought himself to know, rather than to know himself to think. I was entwined in my imagining, in a process of addictions to processes, of becoming, of coming to attain. It had no solidity, nor could it, for they were only a process that would meet its demise in stillness and silence, and thus I feared the stillness and silence as one who would cease to be if that process would come to an end. Nothing lasts forever, not even the processions of the processes. I took it to be the end of my being, exhausted of myself, by myself. I laid there worthless and priceless, in the stillness, the silence that seemed to swallow me alive. Finding myself in what I feared, I found I need not fear it, for I could not escape it. There I was in its midst. I became powerless, no more enabling of the being fearful by the fear of the fear itself. The coat of armor began to rust away as I failed to maintain it with obsessive and compulsive rumination. I began to awaken to the silence of the sea, to the noise of the animals, to the songs of the bird. They burst through the gate like a dog penned in, the gateless gate that never was really there to begin with. There never was a doorway out of becoming what I already was. No need for one. When what was in, out was without. When what was without was within. As above, so below. As below, so above. Heaven and earth became consumed in the fire of the unity. They were no more. Now consummated with this newly found sensitivity that I was lost, but always here. Heaven and earth vanished away, they were long gone. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisaha, gone, 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 beyond gone, utterly beyond. Hail to the light that I am. And all that remained was the light that I am, the wholeness of being. The is what is, without a name or needing a name. Nothing to realize, nothing to recognize. When there was nothing else. As above, so below. No heaven, no earth. Just one body of being. Just the wholeness of the isness. The whole great mess of the pristine being. The incorruptible, unconditional being. The I am, the all in all that I am. No longer needing anything for, to be grateful for. Just being grateful of being. I may have found my way back home without ever leaving or needing to again.